Yeah. So, firstly, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in your such busy schedules. And Today we are here to attend the webinar on FinOps, which is primarily focused on building financial discipline, cloud operations with your FinOps. Now, just before we start, let me take just 2 minutes of your time to introduce StackRoot, and then we'll proceed with the webinar. StackRoot, as you are aware, is an NIT venture which started in 2015, focusing primarily on business developing business aligned talent capabilities across various stages of technical career. We primarily have looked at the customized career paths across all of these core areas, from architects, competence development to product management to product leadership. And we closely work with a lot of organizations ranging from mid to large size IT organizations, be it GCCs, product organizations, startups, and so on. A lot of the flagship programs that we deliver are listed here. And as a part of this, we would also want to highlight that recently uh, we won 17 Brandon Hall Excellence Awards, primarily highlighting on our approach to crafting solution-oriented programs and ensuring that all of these strategies that have been planned together are met with the tangible outcomes. We Every year from 2023, we've started with the Digital Architect Conclave to engage the digital architect community, which year on year we've received more than 120 delegates across 40 plus enterprises. Across a lot of these various delegates included CXOs ranging to aspiring architects, and we had representation across a lot of these organizations. As Based on the feedback for the community is where we started with the Stay at with Stackroot webinar series to ensure that the architect community is being presented with opportunities to stay current with the tools and strategies which are used in the industry. For today's session, I would also want to set a quick expectation that this will be an approximately 90 minutes webinar. We would request you to kindly keep your microphones on mute. And if you have any questions, please feel free to share it on chat or raise your hand. The mentors and speakers will be able to know whoever it is and allot time accordingly. In any case, the last 10 minutes of the webinar are going to be allotted for the Q&A segment. So these were the with this, let me take the opportunity to introduce the speakers. Firstly, we have Abhishek Oja. Abhishek comes from one of the big fours and bringing more than 20 plus years experience in various areas like enterprise architecture, cloud strategy, IT strategy. He has played key roles in various organizations such as EY, ITC, IBM, Wipro. And he has also co-authored the India Enterprise Architecture IDEA framework, which is more from the point of open group architecture contribution that he has been working in. Also, post Abhishek, we would have Gagan. Gagan has been a senior mentor closely working with StackRoot for some significant amount of time. He is someone who's a cloud finance specialist with 20 plus years experience, with 10 plus years exclusively in cloud financial management. He has extensive experience in various areas of cloud infrastructure planning, migration, and so on. He has worked with numerous Fortune 500 organizations to implement cost-effective cloud strategies. And with this, we would like to get started. Thank you again for everyone to joining us. I would want to hand it over to Abhishek. Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks, Anirudh. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So, Anirudh, you want me to share my screen or you will?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, thank you. Can anyone please confirm whether you can see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, so let me do. Okay, so very good afternoon to all of you. Not sure how many of you are from Bangalore. If whoever is from Bangalore, they must be enjoying beautiful weather. It's raining outside here in Bangalore. And in this weather, we are going to talk about FinOps topic. So how many of you have heard about FinOps? You can just use the chat and just say me if you are not. You can type if you are not. let's have a quick. Okay, so let's
We have
mix
one now.
participations. Okay, okay. So it's maybe around 60-40. Okay. Yep. It looks like it's a 50-50. Great, great, great. Yeah. Thanks for the participation. So before we get into the FinOps, let's first talk about that why FinOps matters currently for the enterprises. So this is the number which I got from the Gartner. So as per the Gartner, they have projected that around 947 billion going to be the cloud spend by 2026. And in one of the survey, when they did to the organization, 84% of the organization, they highlighted on that they are finding challenge to manage the cloud cost. 84%. And 71% of the organization, they agreed that yes, they want to optimize the cloud uses and the spend part. And at the same time, 44% of organization, they understood that they require the better reporting for the cloud spend. Currently, they are getting the reporting, but at the same time, they are not convinced the way how they are seeing it. It is not giving that depth knowledge. And that is why the FinOps take place. So the FinOps is nothing but it it is a practice which brings the financial accountability to the cloud spending within the organizations. It helps the financial management uh, with the cloud operations, where actually it ensures that business take care of the innovation and the work on the performance at the same time they can optimize the overall cloud costs, and they can have the better view of whatever they are spending. So FinOps take care of the financial accountability and the visibility of whatever the work we are doing on the cloud side. Maybe we'll get into more details, but there are certain barriers and the triggers for the cloud for the FinOps. And the one of the major barrier which we see is the unpredictability in the cloud spending. The price of the cloud computing that goes suddenly, it you will see that whenever we go for the cloud spend, we may forecast for some specific cloud, but it may become completely different. It may vary not only from the minute, not only from the yearly wise, but even you see from the minute to hourly basis, you can see there is a big variation. And because of this uncertainty, because of this unpredictability, it becomes very difficult to stay within the budget. And that is why actually we require a proper FinOps established in the organization. Another big barriers or the challenge, which I would say, is the lack of experience and the trained FinOps professionals. We do have FinOps professionals, we do have experienced FinOps professionals, but the way how the complexity of the architectures are increasing, the way how we are going for the different cloud platforms, we require trained and experienced FinOps professionals. As you can see, the cloud spend going to be 947 billion. And obviously, it is not just going to be the one platform. There could be multiple platforms. And if you go for the multiple cloud platform, then we will be having more complex architecture. Thereby, we require the proper experience in the trained FinOps professionals. The other major barrier or the trigger, I would say this architectural complexity, which I said just now that seeing the current nature of the cloud infrastructure, the way how we are not just going with only the IaaS service, but we are going for the PaaS service, we are going for the serverless servicing, serverless part of the cloud side. So more and more we get into, it is creating more complexity, and this is also becoming one of the barrier to measure for the FinOps practices. And another one is a lack of accountability. So what we have seen that typically engineers, they have access to the cloud resources, and when they go for any provisioning, so without knowing the proper that which services actually they should go for. They go for even very high config services, and sometimes they go for the over utilization, over provisioning, or the service what they have subscribed for that is underutilized. So these are the common barriers and the triggers in the FinOps practice. Now let's talk about what is the key ambitions for the organizations to adopt FinOps. So first thing is definitely the organizations, they want to go for the cost optimization, whether you talk about through automation or using the artificial intelligence. They want to set up that how each and everything can be automated, how that can be simplified, even though when you go to the stage two, that when you are going for the multiple cloud, so how they can simplify the cost management part. Because some of the services you may find very good in one cloud provider, some services you may find very good in a better in terms in other provider, and that is when it simplification of the multi-cloud cost takes place. And from an organization's perspective, they require a common platform, or they require a platform how where actually they can see everything. So they want to simplify instead of going multiple places. They want a single source of truth where actually they can rely on one dashboard. Then they want to enhance the cloud cost governance. That's just one of the key ambitions which most of the organization they want to have it, that they want to have the overall cloud cost governance. Then they want to embed the FinOps in the DevOps side, because from the beginning, if you start embedding this, integrating it, so it becomes the part of the DevOps processes, and it will become more easier to manage. Then the cloud native architecture for the granular cost, the way how we are seeing, the way how I'm seeing the world is moving. It's not just getting a proper, just go for a one, procure one virtual machine and then start working on it. There are multiple scenarios where you can go with even just a PaaS services, Azure apps, something like Azure app services, or maybe same thing in the AWS on other side of the cloud provider. So how you can go for the cloud native architecture, how you can use the more and more serverless services for the microservices based thing. Now we are seeing a lot of organizations are moving toward the microservices. So how you can go for the cloud native architecture, and once you start using it, then you can work on more from the cost perspective. Gagan will touch upon in some of the things that how we can get more into that. He may tell about that how what are the different ways to work on the costing part, but this is definitely one of the key ambitions for the organization when they're planning to adopt the FinOps. Last but not the least, the carbon aware FinOps. Nowadays, you all must have heard about the ESG. In ESG, sustainability is one of the major factor, and when sustainability, then how, while taking care of all the technical aspect, how we can go for something where actually we can provide the less carbon footprint. So these are the key ambitions of the organization when they want to adopt the FinOps. Now let's discuss about one of the question I asked. Maybe Anirudh, if you can parallelly just raise a poll so that I can also see that what the team is thinking about it. So how we does the company organization manage the cloud costs? Can just you all take an attempt on this part? How does your organization currently manage your cloud cost?
Can I request everyone? The poll has been released. Yes, thank you. We are getting the responses.
Okay, so I can see we track cost, but frequently face unexpected bill. Yeah, it's true. So as you all can see that the majority of the people they have responded that we track cost, but frequently face unexpected bills. So we have got only 8 responses. Okay. Okay. So I think there is an only 9 responses. Okay. Yeah, but I think I would say that that majority. There are developed organizations. There are some organizations where actually they have already taken a big step toward the FinOps side, and because of that reason, they have a full control. But at the same time, there are some organizations where they have taken the first step. So they are tracking the cost, but they are still facing the unexpected bills. Uh, at the same time, there are also some organizations where they are doing the minimal tracking, and that's why experiencing the frequent cost overrun. And if any organization where they don't track the cloud cost actively, then definitely it is going to be a big pain for them, because the main purpose to move to the cloud is to save the cost. But if we don't track the cloud cost, if we don't track the cost actively, then it may become completely opposite of why the organization decided to move to the cloud. Okay, so there are different stages, which maybe I think Gagan may cover, that there are different stages when we go for the FinOps practice. Now let's go and discuss about uh, one of the case study where actually there was one very big retail giant. They decided to move to the cloud to save the cost, but after moving it, they realized that whatever they had planned, that whatever the organizations and all actually they promised for, that once you move to the cloud you may save this much money, but after some time it started becoming completely different. And when uh, the team of consultants were involved to find out that why it is happening, why it has happened. So, the big one of the major reason what was found, that the team of developers, they started provisioning the resources just on the fly. They need a virtual machine without seeing whether they require that much of CPU, that much of whether powerful that virtual machine or not. They simply they went ahead and they procured it. They provisioned that one. Then some of the services, without knowing what is the cost and all that, they simply provisioned it. And even though they were not using, it was keep and running. So all these practices will unnecessarily surge the cloud bill. And that is why it is very important to have a certain practices within the organizations when you have gone on the cloud path. Then another thing which was found, that there was optimized resource usage. They went for example, 100 GB or 100 GB of the resource, but they used hardly 5 or 10% of that. They went for this very high CPU machine, but they hardly utilized it. So if you requires just for a just to store some file storage thing, then you may require the storage capacity. You may not require the compute capacity. So when you are going for a provisioning to any specific services, so let's have a proper thinking that for what purpose you are going, what is the purpose of going for that services, and accordingly you take the call. Then inefficient storage management was another biggest reason, which was found, that I think whoever is aware, whoever has the cloud background, they might be knowing that what is hot storage, what is a warm storage. So when you require something which is not required that much, so why you to have it everything into the hot storage? So let's have a proper storage management thing. Then another big reason was found as the ineffective cost allocation. So when you go for a bigger organizations, so instead of going and allocating the cost equally, let's allocate the cost as per the need or as per you think it might be applicable to those different BOs. And this you can utilize, this you can use later when you are seeing there is a, when you want to track it. So it might become a very useful. So that was also one of the reason which was found when they when the team of consultants they did the analysis. There are many other reasons, but these are the top four reasons which was found while doing the analysis, that why suddenly the cost have increased after moving to the cloud migrations. Now, I'll just discuss about this very important part, which is very much related to the FinOps, that which you think is the following tool or method your organization use for the cloud cost optimizations. Have you, I'm sure that whoever is coming from the cloud background, they must have heard about the reserve instances or the saving plan, whether they do the manual cost monitoring or the optimization part, whether they have the automation cost monitoring tool or not. So can we just launch the survey?
Yeah, it's been released. It's been released.
Okay, thanks.
We've received 2 responses. 3. Everyone would request you if you would, yes, please share the noise that you would have in the poll. In more from the questions perspective of what methods are being currently used.
Okay, so yeah, I can see there are 6 responses and majority of them, I think the almost 33% reserve instances, the manual cost monitoring. Oh, surprisingly, I'm not seeing any cost monitoring, automation cost monitoring tools. Okay, but yeah, actually, that's a trend currently. Uh, Obviously, the reserve instances of the saving plan, that definitely is very much needed, and that has to be the basic thing. Manual cost monitoring and optimization. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, yeah. Manual cost monitoring and optimization is required, but many times we may miss it. And there are some tools in the market which provide the cost monitoring, automation cost monitoring tool, where actually you can configure where you can automate a lot of things. There are tools like Cloudability, Aptio, and then there are many other tools. In fact, you can also create some of the tools using the AWS. I mean, AWS Azure, they also provides such monitoring things, but that's limited to their platform. So there are different ways which can be used by the for the in the organization for the cloud cost optimizations, or to monitor the cost, and based on that actually you can optimize. So these are the different ways. Now I think I would hand over to Gagandeep, and whatever the, we have discussed, some of the things actually you may find out that how, what are the different stages of the cloud FinOps. He may also touch upon on one of the dashboard, where actually we can see that how the cost part will be visible, how that can be optimized. So these are the things actually you can see in the next sessions. With this, I would like to hand over to Gagandeep.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Abhishek. Hi, good evening and welcome everyone for this workshop. And I hope you guys are able to hear me. Abhishek, if you can confirm.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are audible.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let's dive deep into financial discipline of cloud operation, that is also known as FinOps here. So Thanks, Abhishek, for giving a complete insight about why FinOps is the need of our today. Because almost every organization is working towards FinOps, right? They are looking towards basically cloud nowadays, and they are using either a single cloud or a multi-cloud environment. It's required today to have the financial discipline also in the cloud operation. Otherwise, it is definitely gonna uh, loss making business, right, towards moving to the cloud, right, where we are trying to move or optimize the cost. Instead of that, we will be paying a little more here. Okay, so I'll start this particular journey with a quick question, poll question. How frequently your organization review cloud spending to identify the cost saving opportunities, whether it is monthly, quarterly, annual, or you are not sure. So, Anirudh, can we have the poll questions, please?
It's been released.
Yeah, it's yes.
Cool.
Okay. Most of them, we've got two responses saying quarterly.
Okay, quarterly. Let's wait for another 10 more seconds. Guys, if you are not sure, then you can also mention not sure. Completely fine.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm not able to submit any votes saying the bot is disabled. Is that an issue on our side in Teams?
Yeah, that's
I'm facing
the
the
issue
same
I'm
actually.
facing too.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're facing those issues, is the question visible to you in the chat?
Question is visible, but unable to
Yeah, you can
submit.
just type in if it's
Type in, okay.
Yes, yes. Sorry for this inconvenience. We'll ensure that it is addressed.
Great. Okay. I have quite updates now, right? Accordingly, I'll just take it up further. So what context and key takeaways that we will be having in this particular next, I'll say 45 minute or around 50 minute, and that is basically you will be learning about FinOps, how FinOps get aligned to financial management with cloud, with the current environment, exploring different phases of FinOps, and understanding some of the key concepts which are really important when we are talking about FinOps, right? First, if I take this term FinOps, it is definitely not financial operation. Most of the people say FinOps is financial operation. It is not. It is definitely the financial accountability towards cloud operation, right? Operations is basically cloud operation, and the financial accountability and manageability, that is what this FinOps is all about. It is not just about financing. Look at the current challenge that we are having in the environment. As Abhishek rightly mentioned, right, that we have currently a requirement where developers are just creating a large machine, and we do not have any audit points right now. We have a challenge of increasing cloud cost, right, month on month, quarterly, or sometimes surprise bills due to some POC. Because previously in the old times when we had on-prem data center, we had the IT team, the like deploying that particular infrastructure, and before IT team we have a proper finance team, the team that will approve the budget. Then there is a procurement team that will reach out to vendors, get the negotiation done. Then it comes to IT team, which will provision the right limited infrastructure for developers, and developers will just get the machine. So all these were coming into picture, but now it is like everyone is having access to the cloud portal, enterprise cloud portal, and they will be able to create resources on their own. So now a better collaboration is required among all these, so that we should not be breaching the cloud budget that is allocated to our org, or maybe allocated to our department. We should have optimized resources. That resource optimization is very much required today. Yeah. So resource optimization is very much required today, because if you are not utilizing the right level of resources, not utilizing it in a better way, then you will definitely have external expenses, additional expenses to your org. Visibility, that is also equally important. So one of the key principle for FinOps, that even if you are spending $1 anywhere, you should have a clear understanding where this $1 is going. Right? Sometimes we are aware about, let's say, one cost, that is a bucket cost in the cloud. But which bucket is costing us how much, we are not aware about that. Sometimes we see that, okay, there is a data transfer charges for our cloud account, but for which particular server or which application, how much data transfer happened, we are not aware about it. So we do not have a visibility in that depth. And if you do not have that visibility with you, you will not be able to optimize it. And finally, governance, right? Establishing the clear policies and process for your cloud cost, so that we have right level of accountability and consistency in the environment. So these are a couple of key principles for FinOps, why FinOps is there into the picture. If I move around, so FinOps practitioner, that is definitely a job that is coming up nowadays in the market, right? You will see that a lot of organizations, they even have FinOps department with them, right? They have FinOps engineer, right, deployed on the job practice. And along with that, FinOps is the organization FinOps.org, which is basically coming up with this term FinOps and talking about it, setting up standard best practices around it. They say FinOps is not only the responsibility of FinOps practitioner. FinOps practitioner, this particular resource, will act as a bridge between multiple core and allied personas. Example, in engineering team, we take care of creating server, managing server, right? So this team is also equally responsible that how many servers are required. Is it really a need? Can we shut down the server when not in use? Similarly, product owners, they will also understand what product require a POC, what product is required right now, what we can do retire. So that is something they will take care. So multiple different key personas are there, core personas, which are directly involved in FinOps practices. And there are a couple of different personas, which we call it as allied personas, which are aligned with it. There was one question just now, right, from one of the participants about, is the green ops, right, or the latest, like when we achieve the FinOps environment, is that counted as sustainability also? We can say, but actually sustainability is always a separate aligned goal for the organization, that we have to reduce our carbon footprint. But over a journey, when you are working towards FinOps journey, so FinOps work with this sustainability environment to ensure that we reduce the cost also along with our carbon footprint. The sustainability goal is only to reduce the carbon footprint, while FinOps along with sustainability, that means we need to reduce both cost as well as carbon footprint. And there are ways to achieve it. How come? Let's have a look in the next couple of slides. So there are three particular phases in FinOps: inform phase, optimize phase, and operate phase. So inform, till the time you do not have any idea about where your cost is going, where you are spending your money with, you will not be able to optimize and operate. So that is the first step in your FinOps journey, that you should have a clear understanding about your cost usage pattern, about your cost data, right, area of optimization. You should have a proper information with you, that collecting the information, creating dashboards, that all comes under inform phase. Once you have that information, you move towards optimize phase. Because once we have the data that where we are spending the cost, then only you will be able to optimize it further, like right sizing, automation, right, resource utilization reduction. So all these things comes under optimize phase. Once you optimize, there are further ways to continuously monitor the cost, continuously change the strategies, ensure sustainability on top of it, get the feedback from management, get the feedback from other particular team, and continuously work on optimization. That is operate phase. So FinOps is a journey. It's not a one-time activity. That's why it's a job role also in a multiple organization. Right, so first inform, then optimize, and then finally we keep on continuously working on top of it. That is operate phase. So now I'll just want your input on this. What do you think? Which phase of FinOps life cycle provides you the greatest opportunity for optimizing cloud cost in your organization? Whether it is inform phase where you need to put lot more effort, or optimize phase, or operate phase, or you are not sure yet? Can we have the polls, please? Yes, guys, please submit your polls, right? Submit your answers to this so that we get to know what is your current thinking as of now, where you are currently.
Again, some are facing some challenge with the poll, so they're just typing the responses.
Yeah, I can see that in the chat. 10 seconds more. Okay, so majorly it is inform and optimize. Cool. Just one thing here, guys. Without informing, without having a proper information, we cannot move to optimize phase. And without optimize phase, we cannot move to operate phase. So if you have not started the FinOps journey, this is the right step for you. If you have already the information where you are spending, then you need to move towards the next step, that is optimize phase. Now we understood that, okay, these are the three phases where we need to work upon. But is there any strategy that FinOps talk about that we have to follow to reduce the cost? Or it's just about a term, right, where we keep on telling that, okay, these are the ways, or something like just on a logical front without having something practically possible? No, FinOps clearly say there are two major areas. Now there are more, but primarily two major areas where you can work upon to reduce or optimize your cost. The first area is rate optimization, and second area is usage optimization. Now, rate optimization, there are multiple ways to optimize your cloud cost. Example, when you are working with cab service providers, you have multiple options over there, right? If you reserve your booking in advance, your price hike will not be there. Right, maybe when I book a cab in advance, 1 day advance for tomorrow, one, I get a guarantee I'll get a cab. Secondly, I get that particular cost also fixed for that. Not all cab service providers are providing, most of them are providing. Secondly, you also get, for example, earlier one of the cab service provider was providing you monthly passes. That you purchase monthly pass, you will get 10% discount on 50 rides, right, within that month. Along with that, they will also ensure your price hike, price surge due to heavy traffic, due to rain, or due to any other issue will not be there. Similar way, when we work with cloud service providers, they provide multiple rate optimization or pricing techniques. Second, we need to work towards the usage optimization. You must have heard about right sizing, automation, waste management and all. So that is the second technique here. Second strategy to effectively optimize your cloud cost. So let's understand these two one by one. When we talk about FinOps rate optimization, there are a couple of areas different for different cloud. Just a couple of them are mentioned here, but this is not limited to these 5 options. Example, I purchase one server in $1,000 per month. So I just create a server, start using it. That is on-demand services. I created a on-demand service now. So for that on-demand service, you will be paying $1,000. Whatever you use, let's say I used it for entire month, I have to pay $1,000. If I use it for 15 days, I have to pay only $500. Then we have reserved instances, like you commit for it. That you give a commitment of 1 year or 3 years to the cloud service provider, they will give you around 60% discount on it. Up to 70% also some cloud service provider goes. That you give them a commitment that I will take this server for 3 years. You can pay in advance, you will get 70% discount. You can pay monthly, but you will definitely get a bill. You use it or not use it, you will get a bill. So this is RI, reserved instances. So one type of discount you will get. In some cloud you call it sustainability discount also. That this particular discount will be applicable if you give a commitment. But what happens if I want to increase my server size or change my server type? Not possible. Limitations as well. Here comes the saving plan. So here if you get 70% discount, you will get around 65% discount here. A little less, but you will get more flexibility. Tomorrow you want to change from one type of instance to another type of instance, or one region of cloud to another region of cloud, you will still get benefit of the cost. You just give a dollar commitment, the rest they will take care. You will still get around 50, 55%, 60% also discount to it based on region to region where you are working and based on cloud service provider. Then you have spot instances, because cloud service provider also keeps lot of capacity just reserved for the future, right? If some particular customer may come back, so they should have some particular capacity available to them. So that unused instances, they provide you at a discounted price if you are taking it for an hourly purpose, which is known as spot instances. You may get up to 90% discount with if you are using spot instances. The same $1,000 server may cost you just $100, right? If you are taking it under spot instances. But again, there is no guarantee when they can take it back. It is only there for you for a couple of hours. So if you have some particular temporary work to be done, you can do it. Then you have EDP discount. So if your organization is signing a contract with cloud service provider that we will be staying with you for all the services for next 3 years, then they give you additional 15, 20% or sometime even 10% based on what your current utilization is, how much commitment you are making. A commitment for 1 year or 3 year, for 5 year, overall you will get discount for that overall billing. That is on top of RI or saving plan or spot instances you have taken. It is on top of all of that. And further on top of it, if you are going to a partner, right? Which is basically a tier 1 or tier 2 partner for this cloud service provider. You reach out to them, they get additional 5-7% discount from the cloud service provider, and they pass on sometime couple of percentage like 2-3% to the customer. If they are migrating their billing directly instead of directly to cloud service provider, they move via partner, so partner offers some discount to them. Multiple option to optimize your rate, same service, but you are getting at different pricing. If you are making a commitment, if you are making a particular limitation with, let's say you are getting it only for 2 hours, 3 hours, you are not getting it for a complete month. So based on what your particular use cases, you will get a different type of rates, right? You will get different benefit around it. So that is rate optimization, right? Similar way, we have uses optimization. Most of the time, like rightly mentioned by Abhishek, that as a developer, we think that it is wise idea to take on the higher side. Like if my application will require 500 GB, right, next year, it may go up to that. So I will today only I'll ask for 500 GB. The mentality of on-prem is still keeping or carrying on to cloud. While in cloud, you can increase the storage size, increase the server size in just couple of minutes, but still people don't do it. And you are unnecessarily keep on paying for that storage or that server size. So first thing for users optimization is right sizing. That adjust the size of your instances to match the actual workload demand, and then changing the server type. Sometimes it is optimized towards like your server type which are provided by cloud service provider, they are optimized for database. Sometimes some of the instances are optimized for machine learning workload, some of the instances are optimized for database. So you have to change the server type, or sometimes even changing the infrastructure from Intel to AMD or AMD to something else, that is cloud native services. Example, in AWS you have Graviton. In GCP you have TPUs, TensorFlow Processing Unit, which is much cheaper than GPUs. If I talk around AWS, they have Graviton server, which is much cheaper than Intel and AMD. So if you change the server type, you will be able to save better cost there. Similar way, optimizing storage. You have multiple options, multiple different storage type available in all the cloud. So if you move your storage to different tiers, hot tier to warm, warm to cold, you can save a lot of cost there too. Further, we have process optimization with automation, redundant workflow, reducing the unnecessary resource uses and the particular policies. You will be able to optimize further cost to it. And further to it, if you change the architectural design, example, from a dedicated instance, if you move to serverless environment, you can save good amount of cost. Moving away from a VM towards containerization, you can save good amount of cost, right? So different uses optimization techniques are also there, which can save a good amount of cost for you, right? So when we are talking about FinOps, so FinOps says these two major strategies are there, which can save a greater cost, right, for you. Minimum 20% when you optimize it really well, minimum 20%. And maximum it can go up to 70-80% also, based on what your current environment type look like. Okay, so that is FinOps rate and uses optimization. I'll take up one real world example here. So one of the customer where I was working, that is a classified customer. They were completely unutilized earlier, right? They moved to cloud. Basically, they were using all cloud-based services without monitoring the cost, and their usage was increasing drastically. And there was a point where the company board of directors had taken a decision: either we need to create a on-prem solution, or we need to look for how we can reduce the cloud cost. So they started looking at different examples, options available like RIs, sport instances, right? They started looking at, because whenever you talk to any organization which is looking for cloud optimization, the first thing that they should look at is the resource utilization. That can they reduce the server size and make it to the actual count, actual level. Secondly, can we purchase some RIs, reserved instances, or basically any saving plan to save the cost, because that is a direct saving of 50-60%. So this company moved from on demand to reserved instances for the first year, and they saved around 50% cost for the same. Then again next year, because 50% was a huge cost, again the pressure come from management to optimize further cost, that there must be further scope to it. Can you look back and check, is there any other particular scope? And further what they did, they moved to containerization, and along with containerization they started utilizing sport instances. So those who are already working on Kubernetes, you might have heard about Carpenter. Those who are working with FinOps already, you might have heard about cast.ai. There are several techniques which can utilize your sport instances for your production workload. And with that, they were able to further reduce overall 20% more cost. So that is a huge number. Total 70% reduction in the bill. Right? So that's something they have really achieved. And that was like the way back. There is an online case study also available, and soon they are going to make it public also. So then probably I'll be able to share it with you. So this is something like, when you move towards cloud, it is not just about you go to cloud and you will be able to save the cost. You have to optimize your resources and reads to get the cost benefit. Okay, so a lot of theoretical, a lot of discussion here. Just want to understand, is there any questions as of now from the topics that I covered till now? Any queries, doubts? If you are all good till now, it is understood. Can you guys raise your hands or give us a thumbs up? Cool, great. Sure, Sunil. Just search about this Castod AI and Carpenter. You will get to know more about it. Okay. So as we were discussing, right, measuring and reporting your cloud spend, that is inform phase, that is very, very important. So we understood, first we have the inform phase where we will get to know where we are spending the cost. Then we move towards optimizing it, and then we continuously optimize it, that is the operate phase. So in the reporting and measuring phase, we have cost allocation. That is one of the most important concept, that allocating the cost to different project, different department, different business unit. Because as you grow in large enterprise, the overall billing, if it is, let's say, 1 million USD per year, they will not get to know which department is using it more, or if they know, then they have to show it back to that department that your utilization is very high, can you reduce? So that regular reporting, dashboarding, and measuring your key performance indicator, are we overly utilizing somewhere? That is very important. Because without all this, you cannot take the second step of optimization. This is the first step. Example, we are currently using a server with just 10% CPU and memory utilization. And if you do not have that knowledge, you will not be able to right size it. Similar way, for all other possibilities, you should have a proper inform phase, the dashboards with you to understand where you are currently. Right? So continuous improvement iterations that requires regular reviews, the experimentation with different technique. As I mentioned, like that particular classified company, they started first with saving a plan and RIs also basically, and then in the next year they experimented towards carpenter to utilize port instances instead of reserved instances. That was the experimentation to improve further cost can be done. Use automation to the way possible to ensure consistent and efficient resource management. Giving you one example here, our development environment and the test environments are being used only for couple of hours in a week. If you are highly using it also, then also it will not be used for more than 20 hours in a week, because your build time is hardly 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Your test time is hardly 2-3 hours. And how many tests you are running, how many times you are doing build, right? If you calculate for your regular application, it is not that high. And if you are running that servers all the time 24/7, that is a cost wastage. Why not to automate that whenever I need that server, it will get started, build or test will happen, and then as soon as it is done, the server should automatically get shut down. It can be started shut down, it can be created and deleted also. That before my build runs, the build server will get created, build will happen, and then the server will get deleted. So every time I start a build, I initiate a build for my application, a new build server or development server will get created. Pretty much possible with automation. We call it DevSecOps IAC today. And similar way, the feedback loop, getting feedback from your stakeholders, continuously refining your FinOps practices for further learning. All that is continuous improvement and iteration under operator phase. Now I'll talk about a couple of challenges which are usually there, because FinOps is very easy terms to hear. People think that, okay, FinOps is really easy. We will purchase RIs, we'll purchase sport instances, right? And we'll be able to deploy it and optimize, get the cost done. But what about overall long running journey? Long journeys that we have to go through, we have to pass through, and the way under operate phase, what we are doing currently, how we are progressing. So there are a couple of challenges. Let me talk about those challenges in real world. One is show back. How you show the charges to your department. That, okay, these are the charges for your department for this cloud. Let's say we all are using one cloud, Microsoft Azure, in the organization, and you have different department. So which department is utilizing resources more? How we tell them, how we show them, right? So we need a dashboard for sync. Creating such kind of dashboard is tricky. Secondly, chargeback. Sometimes we have to charge these organization or department every month based on their users. That is even more tricky, because when you have to show somebody, the departments are still okay if you show them a little here and there report. But when you are charging them, They will start fighting for even $5. And you cannot keep on revising the bills. Then it will come as a escalation to the FinOps team. Right? So show back, charge back. Now, if you look at your organization, your cloud bills currently, so are you more oriented towards showback, that is showing the particular charges to a department or to a cost center, or you are charging them also? What is the right approach for your organization? Or it's a hybrid approach, or if you are not the right person to talk about it, let's say I do not have that knowledge whether it is a showback or how the budget is allocated, you can say not sure. Yes guys. Because this is more for those person who are really into the management, right, leadership management role, they will only be aware about it. Okay, so a couple of answers. Okay, so that is basically this showback chargeback. Let me give you another particular ways to look at it. Okay, when we have, let's say, 10 different departments or cost center, and we only have to tell them that this is your use case, this is your particular uses for the cloud, and this much bill normally you are spending. Can you please restrict your uses? If we see that, okay, one department is using 2x than other departments, then we can tell that department that your usage is high, can you reduce? And we can see that you are using more of servers or more storage than others. Can you tell me the reason why? Can you optimize it? So this is something showcasing them and getting it rightly focused, so that they can automatically, when we show them that they are using more, they are a little more diligent now, right, towards the creation, towards the management. Then we have chargeback policy. Now chargeback is one more layer of adding sophistication to it. If you start charging the department, they will start fighting, as I mentioned, for even a single dollar. That this is wrong, this is right, I'm not able to see it. Can you highlight that where I'm using this particular $20 for server? You give me a bill for $20 for server. Overall, the bill is $2,000, right? So why $20 to me, or why $2,000 only to me? So you should have a strong calculation method for this, right? Couple of challenges here. Let's say you are working with departments in different countries, then how you will be charging them with the taxes, how you are changing a single cloud bill into multiple cloud bill in different currencies. Another challenge, right? Different currencies. You are getting a bill from AWS, let's say for US region, and you are billing, you are one of the department that is in India, so you have to charge them in rupees. You have one more in particular Japan, so you have to charge them in some separate particular finance, I think yen, right? So over there, similar way, different particular countries, different department, different charges you have to charge them, and the taxes also should be as per their local government, right? And further it can be increased, right? So complexity will further go increase, and accuracy will also further increase when you add more towards your total cost of ownership, and when you have fully matured chargeback policies. So this is required by organizations which are working in a SaaS model. Example, Salesforce. Now Salesforce is officially deployed on AWS. Now when you use Salesforce, they will charge you based on couple of items, based on number of user licenses that you purchase, and based on your usage also. And in the backend, they track how much you are using that cloud charges. They will put those charges also in your bill. So now that charges has to be even for a single API, that much accurate. So you have to go to that level. So the organization which are working on SaaS platform, they are working on fully mature chargeback policy. But as you see, the complexity will keep on increasing as you need to increase more accuracy. Right, so all organizations are different. Some organization they are good with showback, some organization they are good with chargeback, some organization they need fully mature chargeback policy. Now what is the right approach for your organization? So look at what is your primary focus, cost optimization or budget accountability. If it is cost optimization, then you will go with showback only. If it is budget accountability to different cost center, then it is basically chargeback one. If it is further, let's say we have to go with very, or let's say 99% of accuracy in the billing, then you have to go with the fully mature chargeback policy. About the structure, what kind of structure you have and how much complexity, because as you increase your showback to chargeback to fully chargeback, your complexity will also increase. So we need to select the right approach for our organization with these policies. Further, some organization examples, you must have been working with Zepto, Zomato, Swiggy and all these particular delivery companies. As an end user, you might have used it. Now think from that perspective that they are basically just working as a broker. Vendor is somebody else who is providing the resources. User is somebody end user who is paying for it, and we are just keeping a in between margin for it. So there are different costs associated to each of the transactions that they are providing to you. Example, when you work with IRCTC, you are paying some charges which is per ticket. They are taking some service charge per ticket. Similar way, when you go to Book My Show and you try to book a ticket over there, you have to pay some service charge over there too. Same goes with this Zomato, Swiggy and all. They take, or basically they calculate what is the revenue per unit, right? What is the cost associated to customer acquisition, customer lifetime value, and what is that per unit cost that they are coming. So they have to take up that all the unit cost, that per delivery, this is the average charge of cloud platform that they have to provide. And then they have to accordingly charge the end customer. This is the platform fee. So till the time they are not able to get that unit metrics calculated, that for 1 million end users or orders, they have to pay this. For 2 million, they have to pay this much cloud cost. So they have to come up on a cloud cost per unit. And sometimes when we say cost per unit, it is associated with services too within the cloud, that how much charges they are paying per service based on number of users they are coming on their environment. Right, so they calculate this unit economics. So this is again one more advanced step towards showback and chargeback, so that they calculate the right cost and charge it back to end user. Right, so as I mentioned, this business unit metrics and fully mature chargeback model, this comes here when you are working with these companies which are working as an intermediator, and they need to calculate the right cost of cloud per unit basis. So they leverage business unit metrics and fully loaded chargeback to achieve the final level of chargebacks here. That's why we call it a chargeback unit economics. And further on top of it, there are multiple challenges with respect to, let's say, shared cloud cost. When we are working as a single company, example, I am a bank and I have multiple departments. I have a banking department, I have a credit card department, loan department, debit card department, different particular department here. Right, so saving account, then current account, different type of accounts, different departments I have. Now, when I sign a deal with one of the firewall company to set up a firewall for my organization, I will not get it set up for each small department. I will set it up for entire organization. Same way, when I set up a network for my organization, it will not be for banking separate, then loan separate and other department separate. So there are some shared cost among these different department or cost center. So how we put it in the showback and chargeback policy then? Because sharing a particular cloud cost, sharing a single resource, that is better to save or optimize the cost. But on the other side, when you are planning it from security standpoint, cost allocation standpoint, it is definitely a challenge. So what method we will be using to distribute this shared cloud cost among different cost center? Different methods which FinOps talk about. Right? So all these challenges are there. Now I'll move towards one of the dashboard for inform phase, which I'll show that how we create this dashboard and how these dashboards are really helpful for us. Because without having an inform phase, we cannot optimize, we cannot operate, we cannot move towards showback or chargeback or any other policy. So inform phase is the very first step, and that is the foundation for all of this. So there are multiple tools which will help you out in inform phase, right? Getting a right information here. So I'll talk about one of the tool here, that is CID dashboard, cloud cost intelligence dashboard. The technical architecture, how it is, basically this is a dashboard that is created by AWS, but this is not a service from them. There are several outside dashboards are also available, like Cloudability. I'll talk about that too. So this dashboard will collect your data from multiple services within your environment, even from third-party sources. Like it can take up the data from your Azure account and GCP account also. You will create a data lake environment. You will run Athena queries on top of it. With the help of QuickSight dashboard, you will be able to create dashboards here. And then different leaders will have access to those dashboards. Right? So not one or two dashboards, multiple dashboards are there. Showing you a couple of these dashboards so that you get a clarity how these dashboards look like. Can you guys confirm if you are able to see my screen? Anirudh?
Yes, it's visible.
Cool. So now if you have a look at this dashboard here, right? So you get a complete clear insight. What is your invoice? What is the particular region where you are using, right? Invoice spend payer account. So multiple details you are getting with this kind of dashboard. Further to it, this is overall summary. Then you can deep dive into each type, like reserved instances and saving plan summary. Net saving by pricing model and service, how much you are able to save. Right? Then recommendations about the same. Then previous month uses a cost type, that unused cost type, sorry, that you have not utilized. Example, I have committed for this much dollar, I'm paying that bill, but I'm not using it. So that is also a wastage, right? Showing you those wastages here, that how much additional you have already committed. Then you get details in the particular graphical format about each of these areas. Example, when you are working with compute, so there is a compute dashboard also, where it will talk about different particular compute unit cost. Right, so that is a unit cost here, compute unit cost, and normalized hours by purchase option. So you'll get the details clearly here, that where you are spending more under what account, what type of instances you are using more. Clear details you will be getting it here. Right, so what are the focus area? Previous generation instances group by for total cost on demand, that is for the previous month. So it is talking about those particular instance type with that particular group. Right, so daily cost, how much daily cost you are getting. So in case any fluctuations are there, you will get that fluctuations too. Right, so this is kudos dashboard. Similar way you have KPI dashboard. Example, there are best practices that are defined by these cloud service provider. My goal for EC2 support uses, let's say I set it up, you can set it up manually too, that the goal is 70%. So where you are currently now, your goal for using graviton instances, so that you have sustainability as well as cost optimization, where you are currently in this, you will get complete details around it. Right, so multiple different KPIs where you can track where you are currently. Similarly, not only this, if you see CID for dashboard, right, CID for Azure, marketplace, container cost, GCP cost dashboard, you have these dashboards available. Under this one particular dashboard, you are getting the entire charges, right, from GCP also, Azure also, and you will get to know what is your particular cost per project, per instances, right, what is the trend for your projects, how many credits are there in your environment. So all that summary here, so giving you a complete informed decision. Right, moving towards another tool like cloudability, that is another tool here. Right, so that is from IBM, cloudability from Appsio. So here also it is giving you similar, let's say curated multi-cloud FinOps dashboard. So this is multi-cloud giving you details. If you have a look at it, so Azure, AWS, OCI, IBM, GCP, how much you are spending where. This is multi-cloud dashboard here. Similar stuff talking about your RIs, how you can optimize, what are the ways to optimize, giving you complete details, even right sizing detail. If you look at it, that if you right size that this much cost, you will be able to save. Right, so these are different particular dashboards which will help you out in optimizing the cost, because to take a right optimization decision and operate decision, you should have informed knowledge beforehand so that you can take up those. Now this is something overall I talked about multiple different chunks here. So this FinOps is basically the framework set up by FinOps.org. And this FinOps.org is talking about different domains, capabilities, right? The principle of DevOps, the personas, what guy, what role is responsible for which particular item, right? What is their responsibility model here? And different phases like inform, optimize, operate phase, that is basically the key concept from FinOps.org. Right, then they have different maturity level where you are currently in the FinOps journey, crawl, walk, run journey. So that FinOps term is primarily now taken care by this FinOps.org, which is primarily looking into creating the FinOps architect and engineers so that we can take a right informed decision and we can save a good amount of cost of the cloud services which we are using. So that's what this FinOps is all about. So we'll be sharing some useful references with you so that you can go through and you can have a look what these particular types are. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you very much, everyone. And
Thank you.
any questions? Open to questions, please.
Thank you, Gagan. I would request anyone to please kindly unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Okay, guys. So in case you have any doubt, queries, please feel free to ask.
Someone has raised their hand, Gagan.
Yes, Amit.
Yeah,
Please go
yeah,
ahead.
this is Amit here. I just want to ask, there are these a couple of certifications available in the market, right? One is, I think, practitioner, and there's another one. Can't get the name. But
Yeah,
how really useful are they from a practical perspective to gain more knowledge about FinOps?
okay. So actually these particular certifications are bound towards your knowledge, right? To test your knowledge, how good you are. They will test you around all these particular concepts. To gain the knowledge, you definitely have to go through those particular workshops so that you get the knowledge, right level of understanding here. So there are different particular workshops and certifications around it. Example, FinOps for engineer, right? So FinOps engineer, that is basically for the engineers here which are working towards FinOps journey, right? Then we have FinOps for everyone, that is FinOps practitioner workshop. Then you have another one that is FinOps professional. So that is basically the advanced level of it. Once you are already with FinOps practitioner, you will go towards professional level. Then FinOps for container, that is a separate new particular one in the market right now. So where it is more about how you can optimize your containerization word post with FinOps operations, right? So different one are there, but again it is all tied up with your knowledge, what knowledge you have, right? And accordingly it will judge you. But to gain that understanding, you need to go through with the workshops.
Yeah. Technical knowledge, I suppose, right? When you mean knowledge of the
Yes,
platform.
technical knowledge, exactly.
Okay.
How we will
Great.
be
Thank
able to optimize it in actual real production.
Sure. Thanks.
Sure.
One more request to everyone. Kindly please fill the one word key takeaway in the poll that was released, and also share the rating on a scale of 1 to 5. Yes. Anyone else who would want to ask question?
The current cloud AWS GCP all doesn't have the proper capability to like estimate the financial operations, or do we need third-party tools to do all these activities?
Okay. So Sunil, normally I'll say most of these tools have challenges right now in the market. They are not mature enough, especially the cloud service provider. The challenge, one of these, normally if you look at the services that they provide, the cloud service provider, let's say AWS, so their native services, they will talk about only AWS related stuff, how you can optimize the AWS infra. AWS tools will not talk about Azure or GCP more. The one that I've shown you, that is a marketplace tool from AWS, but not the native service. And that too, it is covering only 10% of Azure and GCP. While it is covering 90% of AWS, but only 10% for Azure and 10% for GCP, that's it. So they are not that vast enough. Secondly, the challenges like shared cost, challenges like chargeback, right? Creating separate bills for different department, those are not available with the native tool. So for that, you have to go with the third party tool only.
Okay. And the reports that you showed is like custom created reports, or like default reports from the cloud?
The one that I have shown you right now, right on the dashboard.
A few reports you showed, right?
So the dashboards which I have shown, right, that is basically for one of the demo cloud account. Right, so it's already account, demo account.
Okay. Now, are they like the reports are dashboards created custom, or it's a default report that's already available?
Okay, so basically what happens, you can customize it. These are available if you deploy CID dashboard example. So you can customize these reports as per your requirement. So it's not hard and fast that you have to use only these one. So you can customize it as per your use case, that okay, this is the stuff that you need, you can use it. Something that you don't need, you can just remove it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other queries, anyone? Requesting everyone to please submit the feedback before you logo.
You can feel free to unmute yourself directly. Thank you everyone for informing. I think we are good. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending the webinar. Special thanks to Abhishek and Gagan for taking time and sharing the valuable knowledge and insights. We hope to continuously engage you with Stackroot webinars. We will be shortly sharing a thank you mailer to everyone as well. Please let us know if anything has to be incorporated. Feel free to write to us on the ID. Thank you. Thank you for spending your time.
Thank you. Thanks all. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.